What about Matt Rhule? Matt Rhule was fired today. I know I mentioned this to you on Twitter. Someone
Yeah.
said, "Where's he going to go?" And I asked you. You said you talked about it today. So what are your thoughts on where Rhule could end up? Is he going to come to Boulder? Is he where he's going to be?
No, he's not going to end up in Boulder. Um, People that I talked to close to Matt, Nebraska would be a spot that he would have a great deal of interest in. I think Arizona State also could be a possibility,
Mm-hmm.
although, they've got some uncertainty there with the athletic director. Also, Arizona State's really not sure what conference they may be in 2 or 3 years from now. Um, I don't think necessarily Georgia Tech would be a good fit for him. But what he did we were talking about Art Briles, what Rhule did at Baylor was just incredible. He went into one of the most horrific environments surrounding that football program and literally flipped it around in a couple of years. Yeah, it didn't work out in the NFL. He will have plenty of opportunities to coach in college. The question is, I saw somebody reported he could get up to $40 million buyout. Great
Holy,
gig if you can get it. So how enthusiastic is he to get back into coaching? Somebody I talked to actually earlier today mentioned they thought if Rhule would have lasted into November or December that he may take the next year off. But because he got cut loose so early, here we are the first week of October, that they think that maybe he'll want to get back in it next year. I think Nebraska, that would be a great hire for him. And then you kind of get into the tricky part that these ADs are looking at. They've hired all these interim coaches. Last week, you guys mentioned it on your podcast the other day. All 5 interim coaches, or is it winterim coaches? All 5 of these interim coaches won, which is great. But then if you're an AD, you're kind of in a no-win situation, because now if your interim coach reels off 3 or 4 wins, now suddenly there's this support building to, hey, we need to hire the interim coach. When you're sitting there going, wait, I could have Matt Rhule, I could have Deion Sanders, I could have, fill in the blank, and maybe I don't want my interim guy to win. So that's kind of the danger these ADs have when they have an interim coach come in, and if they start reeling off some wins.
No, that's that is the absolute dream. By the way, maybe one day one of us will get to that level where someone pays us millions of dollars to not do our job. Here's 40 million. Stop doing your job. Stop working, and just go away. I would be like, cool, I'm out.
Yeah.
There's like a Darren Ravel joke in here somewhere, but I'm not going to go there. Yeah.
For those of you that do not remember Matt Rhule's time in college football, yeah, he was great at Baylor. But before that, Temple was, I bet on Temple every single season to make their conference championship game. Matt Rhule was an absolute moneymaker. Phil Snow, his defensive coordinator, who was at the Panthers with him, was with him through Baylor, with him through Temple, one of the best defenses in college football everywhere they went. Plus, you know who else was on that Panthers staff? Ed Foley, the guy that was interim coach for a bowl game in 2016 for Temple, interim coach again, I think in 2019 for Temple. I think they went down and won the Independence Bowl, like the greatest pep-up interim coach ever. So be looking to see, like, if Phil Snow moves on without Matt Rhule and Ed Foley moves on without Matt Rhule, then, we'll see. But I agree with you guys. I think he'll be back in college game really fast. And that should put everybody on notice, at least from a wallet perspective, because he made us all bank at Temple.
Yeah, those are two, like, we talked about the Baylor situation, one of the toughest situations any coach is walking into. Temple in general is just one of the toughest jobs. Like, just trying, and look at them now. Like, look, Temple compared to when Rhule was there to right now. It's obviously a major downgrade.
Temple was so bad before Rhule got there. Obviously, they literally got kicked out of the Big East. They were not competitive, and they got kicked out of the Big East. They had to go to the MAC for a little bit. So yeah, that place was a mess.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Rhule's always like a loyal guy. So he had PJ Walker with him just in Carolina, who was going to get cut in the preseason, but then Corral got hurt, and then now you have Darnold on IR, and then Baker Mayfield is hurt now. So PJ Walker, the ex-Temple quarterback, is going to start this weekend for the Panthers, which is hilarious.
Well, Matt Rhule, you're welcome to come back to college football. Although, he did play at Penn State, so that job's kind of taken, going to be taken forever. So he's going to have to find something else to do.